What's going on, guys? This is Aaron from Departures Capital. We're here with Bryan Slusarchuk, CEO of Zacatecas Silver and Fosterville South Exploration. Nice to have you back, Bryan. How are you doing today?
Doing really well, Aaron. Thanks for having me back on.
Yeah, of course. So it's been a little while. Can you start by giving us an update on Zacatecas Silver and telling us everything you've been up to in the last while?
Absolutely. Zacatecas has entered a very busy stretch on the ground at our Zacatecas Silver project in Mexico. And we're starting to see the results of that activity on the ground via some quite regular news flow. We've recently published our first 43101 compliant resource estimate for the property. And we're just extremely happy about this resource estimate, getting it out there. And this estimate, which comes in north of 16 million ounces silver equivalent at approximately 187 gram per ton, including a higher grade zone of approximately 5 million ounces, grading 235 grams per ton silver equivalent. This initial 43101 compliant resource estimate provides a great foundation for the company going forward and can really guide our efforts in the vicinity of this deposit on our large land package.
Awesome. So Zacatecas Silver has been busy as of late. Like you said, the company just put out its first ever 43101 compliant resource estimate for the Panuco deposit, and also has put out some very high grade drill results in an area of the property called Panuco North. Why the flurry of activity here recently?
Well, over the past several months, the technical team led by Dr. Wilson has been very busy on site, defining drill targets, vectoring in on some of the best exploration areas of the property, getting drill permits in place, getting drill contracts in place, etc. And now with a lot of that hard work done, the program is very drill centric going forward. So as I mentioned, we recently put out our first ever 43101 compliant resource estimate. We've also put out some outstanding drill results, and these drill results are from an area called Panuco North. And included within these results, we see some very high grade, such as a drill interval grading core length 2.17 meters at 823 grams per ton silver equivalent. So these holes that we're putting out in Panuco North are higher grade than the historic resource. It opens up a new area of the property. These high grade holes at Panuco North via our drilling efforts, this is in a previously undrilled area of the property, so we couldn't be more excited to get these nice high grade hits so early on in the drill program. There's a lot more core in the lab, and we anticipate a lot more drill results coming out in quite short order.
Awesome. So the initial resource estimate at Panuco looks impressive. Do you think the deposit is now at its limit, or does it remain open?
So Panuco is open. It's open along strike. It's open at depth. So Panuco is very much open for expansion. And the drill program at Panuco itself is targeted to expand that resource, confirm that resource along strike at depth. And that's what we've designed things for at Panuco itself. Now, over and above that, we are conducting pure exploration in other areas of the property. I just mentioned some very high grade results from Panuco North, and we will be drilling there. At the same time, we've got other areas such as San Gil, San Manuel, that are largely underexplored, and we're very eager to test some of these exploration targets. So we've got a great historic resource that we've now converted and upgraded to a 43101 compliant resource in the central area of the property, but early drilling suggests we may be onto an even higher grade situation just north of that resource area.
Yeah, that's very exciting. So, high grade drill results, like you said, reported at Panuco North, 2.17 meters at 823 grams per ton silver equivalent. That really stands out. What does your team make of this?
Well, it's interesting. These first few holes that we've reported assays on from Panuco North are, number one, higher grade than what we see in the resource estimate we've just put out. Number two, we're getting nice cuts of mineralization. These aren't skinny cuts. They're nice, robust cuts of high grade. And very importantly, as I mentioned, this is in a previously undrilled area of the project. So it's something new. It's something exciting. Initially, it looks like it has the potential to be very high grade, and we'll be following it up with a lot of drilling here in Q1. So the drill in Q1 will really guide the company's growth and news flow over the next several weeks. And we're really excited to follow up on these high grade hits and follow up, of course, on the expansion program of the now 43-101 compliant resource estimate we've just issued a news release with regards to.
For sure. I look forward to having you back on to talk about those results. So Panuco and Panuco North seem to be shaping up in a big way. What else is happening on the property? Are there other targets for exploration, or is all the focus on at Panuco?
Well, initially, we have been focused within that area, Panuco North. We've had the nice high grade hits at North now that we'll be following up on. We'll be looking to expand Panuco Central at depth and also along strike. And on top of all of this, we've identified, based on several months of hard work on the ground, a number of other targets. One of these targets represents the extension of a vein that has produced silver in the region for 100 years plus. And this is something that we've now traced onto our property for approximately 2.53 kilometers. It's largely untested. We'll be drilling the extension or perceived extension of that vein onto our property. And that's just one example of the exploration targets that we'll be chasing down. So the resource we've now announced, and which will soon be published, the resource that we've announced is an impressive start. It's a foundation. It's open along strike. It's open at depth. But just as exciting are all of these other undrilled and underexplored exploration targets on this large property. Remember, this is a big, commanding land package in one of the world's most important regions for high-grade silver exploration. So we're very excited to tackle it in a big way via the drill bit.
Awesome. Yeah, the share structure really stands out as well, considering the amount of cash you have on hand, the work that has been done, and the fact that you've announced big investments from the likes of Eric Sprott already. What importance do you put on share structure? How important is it in these types of exploration situations?
You know, it's always important to have a great project to work on, and the fundamental value of the company over time will be grown through the testing of the geology of the project. And we've obviously got an amazing land package here, and we've got that underlying fundamental proposition of value growth via the exploration, potential development, etc., of these silver projects. At the same time, if you can couple that up with a great share structure, it can provide real torque. The combination of a great project with a great share structure gives investors that potential for true torque when the company performs. We've got less than 53 million shares issued. It's at approximately 52.8 million shares issued. No warrants are issued with that. So as the company performs on the ground, and Dr. Wilson and his team have shown the start of that performance via the flurry of news as of late in terms of fundamental progress, as the company performs on the ground, we think with this share structure, we can get real torque. And some of the big precious metals investors that invested in Zacatecas early on did so on the back of this great property package. And now that we're working hard with the drill, I think that news flow, the progress on the ground, combined with this share structure, can provide a really potentially exciting 2022, starting off with a very active Q1 with a lot of news flow from the ground.
Definitely look forward to that. So things are sounding great at Zacatecas. A number of our followers are also invested in Fosterville South. I see you put out some very nice drill results in October there, but what's next and why is this a compelling situation? Maybe you could give us a brief update on FSX or Fosterville South and what we can look forward to from here.
Yeah, absolutely, Aaron. And I look forward to getting back on with you and talking about Fosterville South in real detail.
Definitely.
But this, in my opinion, is just an extremely attractive and compelling time to be looking at the situation. As you'll see in our last financials that are filed on CDAR, the company, as of that filing, had approximately $24 million in cash, 4 drills turning on 3 separate projects, a big premier land package that was assembled over a number of years by Rex Motton, our COO and co-founder. So the Fosterville South situation, we put out some great early results from various projects. Now the growth will be very much drill driven with approximately $24 million in cash, 4 drills turning on some of the best geology in Australia for high-grade gold prospectivity. It's an exciting time. And with the share price having pulled back recently, I think due to a combination of weakness in the sector, tax loss selling, etc., I just think it's a great time for people to look at this situation. And with that treasury, I think what people will realize is that as we produce good news flow, if people want to own shares in the company, they're going to have to go to the market because the company is not in need of financing to accelerate the drill program. When we start to follow up on some of these initial high-grade results that we've announced as recently as October, as you mentioned, as we accelerate on the ground, we don't need to go to the market to finance that ramp up and acceleration. So Fosterville South is just in a great position. And I do think it's a very compelling time to be looking at this situation.
Yeah, I think not having to raise money is a very big positive. So very excited to cover it and excited to have you back. So thank you so much for those updates, Bryan, and best of luck with everything. Have a happy new year.
Great. Happy New Year, Aaron. Thanks. And thanks to all of your community that has followed Zacatecas Silver and Fosterville South.
If you like these videos, kindly hit that subscribe button and the bell for notifications. Drop us a comment down below. We'd love to hear from you. And finally, always remember Departures Capital is for information, education, and entertainment purposes only. Don't buy or sell a stock because you heard it on here. Buy or sell a stock because you've done your research, you've done your thorough due diligence, and you're making your own personal investment decisions for yourself. This video is not financial advice. Furthermore, this video may or may not have been sponsored by the companies that we've profiled within this video, and we may or may not own shares of any of the profiled companies in this video. If you want to know the full disclosure details, check the description down below along with thoroughly reading our disclaimer. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I look forward to seeing you in our next video.